TYT is insane for not copyright striking channels who take our content from our members only bonus episode, which is intentionally behind a paywall. Just a warning to those channels, we will nuke the out of you. Okay, if you're gonna.
In this video, we have a clip from the progressive channel The Vanguard discussing Ana Kasparian's recent threat to progressive commentary channels. Ana Kasparian has recently gotten fed up with all the trash talking by other channels, their viewers, and even her own viewers, and has threatened to nuke all the other progressive commentary channels. With that, let's watch Ana Kasparian drift further away from the left and threaten to go on the warpath.
Have you, I don't think you've seen this yet, Lance. I know a lot of people in chat are very excited, but Ana Kasparian, she really escalated this whole beef last night live on the Young Turks. Came with some,
I have not.
Spicy words, a threat actually against not just the Vanguard, but I think specifically the Vanguard.
I think TYT is insane for not copyright striking channels who take our content from our members only bonus episode, which is intentionally behind a paywall. Just a warning to those channels, we will nuke the out of you. Okay, if you're gonna steal content from paid walled members only content. Just want to say that. Anyway, weird to start with that, but come on, guys. Bounds of reason. Okay, it's insane when you see that happen. People steal our content all the time. We don't do anything about it. But when it comes to paywalled members only content, we're giving people exclusive members only content. That's part of membership. It's ridiculous to just steal that content. Anyway, let's get to this Netflix dating show, Love is Blind. Do you watch any of that stuff, Waz?
And what's so hilarious is she's going to later on in that episode cite an article from the Washington Post or the New York Times or the Wall Street Journal.
I bet you should play a clip from Love is Blind on the show.
And it's hilarious too, because if anybody's curious and they weren't paying attention, the clip she's reacting to was us dunking on her for taking a cheap shot at Francesca Fiorentini, again behind a paywall, and just bunking some of her turf arguments about how the crazy left has made it impossible for us to win because we're just so crazy. And, there's little Susie can't be taking elbows from a man during gym class, and all these things that do not freaking happen. And she wants to be able to get away with that without having any consequences, without receiving any backlash at all. Pretty crazy.
Yeah. And by the way, live on air, we didn't even realize that it was members only content. Someone sent us that and we were reacting to it. I didn't even realize it was from the bonus episode part of their show. So, it's not like it was intentional, but also to say that people are stealing our content, that's ridiculous. It's kind of just how YouTube works. It's not like we're just posting Young Turks live streams. No, we're adding our commentary, our perspective.
You're transforming it.
We're
transformative.
And by the way, if anyone's, we also have we actually put more of our show as members only than TYT. I think they have a bonus episode that happens, which is 30 minutes of paywalled content, which we apparently accidentally reacted to 3 seconds of, right? A lot of our show is members only. After our live streams are over, what doesn't make it into a clip is paywalled. It's members only live stream after the fact. Let me tell you right now, guys, any single one of you watching, lovers, haters, whatever, fans, whatever, whoever you are, feel free to react to it.
I know this video is about how fed up Ana Kasparian is with the progressive left and people like these guys, as they say, dunking on her, which I think I covered that video. I don't know if these guys could dunk on anyone, but it seems like she's most mad, or at least projecting that she's most mad about them reacting to content that's behind a paywall. I guess I'm biased because I do commentary channels, but I think that's, of all the things you should be upset about, that's one of your weaker arguments. But her beef with them isn't the most interesting thing that I saw in this video. I love it how these two guys I just can't stand, and I would guess, and I can't say for sure that I can't stand the guy in the bottom right hand corner either, but they're upset with Ana and quote unquote dunking on her because she says the crazy left has made it impossible for Democrats to win. That's what they're offended about. One of maybe the most objectively truthful statements I've ever heard. And then they said something like, yeah, they're like, Susie's gonna get an elbow from a man in gym class. I don't know about gym class, but women are being severely injured by men in women's sports. What are you talking about? They followed that up with like, yeah, like that ever happens. I could list a ton of verifiable stories for you. Anytime I do a video with these guys, I get off track because they are just everything wrong with the far left. But I think Anna's argument about don't react to our stuff that's behind a paywall is silly, because I think she has a lot more legitimate grievances with idiots like these guys. Anyway, let's get back to the video.
As much of that content as you want. Even if you barely comment on it, even if you barely transform it, we don't give a fuck. Why? Because we actually care about free speech, right? Anna's been criticizing the right wing justly for some of their anti-free speech hypocrisy, but here she is threatening channels that are 1/100th the size of the Young Turks. Literally, they have
I was going to add, even if you didn't get permission from the Vanguard there, that doesn't matter, all right? Because if you are taking that copyright content and you're transforming it, the copyright holder does not have the right to claim that they're going to nuke you because you're suddenly trying to criticize them. And that's what I like. If it applies to fucking Disney and Marvel, it definitely applies to the Vanguard. I'm going to be honest with you, because that's absolutely ridiculous. This is how you prevent a giant corporation from silencing you if you want to say this is shit. I think this Star Wars movie is shit. I'm going to play a clip to prove to you why it's shit. Here's a 5-second clip. That was shit, right? That was a shitty clip. Boom. You don't need the permission from the original copyright holder in that regard. And TYT can't be like, but it was behind a paywall. Come on, people had to pay to see that. And I assume the two of you aren't the ones who are like paying members who are watching hours of their content to find a clip. Like it's like anyone else, like me. Like people send it to you, right? Or you see it on Twitter, or you react to it. Like
we have some really dedicated people that do a lot to keep tabs on TYT, people who, are longtime listeners that are very frustrated, and they'll be like, you guys can't miss this timestamp. Here's a link in our inbox. And we're really grateful to those people. But no, I very rarely am, combing through the back canon of the Young Turks. You know what I mean? It's not something that I'm, it's more of a means to an end. And kind of like your question earlier, right? Like, how do we feel about rising so much off of the back of the Young Turks? We were like, to be honest, they did it to themselves, and we're just happy to be the
and
ones
to be clear, I'm complimenting you. I think it's fucking awesome, because I think honestly those grifters needed to be exposed. The whole like the Polymarket Studios presents the home of progressives bullshit, as like there's a percentage of people who genuinely are going to be watching their propaganda articles and their fake ass news reports where they're just trying to get everyone scared that Venezuelans are coming to stab their mothers in the fucking ass and shit like that every day, and actually believe this is leftist shit, right? Like there needs to be a Vanguard that is actually going to direct someone who might be looking at one of those videos being like, oh, apparently Venezuelans are dangerous and they want to stab my grandmother, and actually see like, oh shit, no, those people were lying, and they took one isolated case that no one's on the other side of. Like no one's like pro stabbing. I'm not for people stabbing people's grandmas, but I'm obviously like, that's not a problem that's happening all the time, right? Whereas like, maybe Black Americans disproportionately getting arrested compared to white Americans for using drugs happens a lot more. Maybe racial profiling happens a lot more. Maybe these are the things we should talk about that the mainstream media doesn't.
These guys are either insane or just liars. They're saying Venezuelan migrants, gang members, didn't overtake an apartment complex? Or are they saying that it doesn't happen as much as these other things, these other social justice movements that are so important? So who cares, right? I mean, it doesn't happen enough. I think their message is these Venezuelan gangs are going to have to take over a lot more apartment complexes before, they'll actually take it seriously or report on it. Because, guys, it demonizes immigrants. No, it doesn't demonize immigrants. It demonizes gang members that attacked people in an apartment complex. That's called reporting the news. And just before we get back to the video, one other thing someone mentioned was the right's anti-free speech hypocrisy. Whose speech is the right trying to shut down? I literally, even if I'm trying to look at it from their whacked out perspective, I can't think of an instance. Can you let me know in the comments if you know what they're talking about? Anyway, let's get back to the video.
Isn't that the point of alternative leftist media?
And I just can't get over the blatant hypocrisy of the fact that for over a decade, 15 years at this point, Ana Kasparian has been reading articles that were written entirely by people that were not employed by the Young Turks. You know what I mean? Like, it takes a lot of effort to put out a real article. Like, I always bring up my girlfriend. She's a reporter for the local NPR affiliate, and she works damn hard. She's at the library right now meeting with a person, and then after work today is going to go to another thing at the library to hear about a highway that was built 35 fucking years ago. But you know what I mean? It's hard work to do all of that. And they don't even so much as shout out the journalist that wrote the article that they're referencing. They don't so much as plug these people, right? But yet she wants to go and throw a tantrum about how people are stealing their content. And now I think we could all do better about plugging the journalists that write pieces that we cite on the show. I'm not saying that Ana Kasparian would be uniquely at fault for that, but the level of fucking shamelessness, right? It really reminds me of Ethan Klein. Ethan Klein back in the day used to be a diehard defender of fair use and the ability to react to shit. He'd be like, "It's YouTube."
Didn't he have a trial over, or he got sued for that or something? Like someone,
and he won back in the day, and he made a legal trust for people who are going to be able to use it. And then when he got so pissed off about Hassan haters, he immediately flipped the script and he was like, "We're going to sue anybody that reacts to too much of H3's content." It's crazy.
Yeah, it's wild. Also, I mean, even like we're talking about this from a copyright perspective, I was saying that, you know, anyone who loves us or hates us, feel free to react to our content, even if it's paywalled, even if it's members only. Why? Because I care about free speech. And that's true. I do care about free speech, but I also couldn't imagine not being able to like answer for anything that I've said, right? There's nothing I say on the show that I won't defend or that I'd be embarrassed to hear played by another channel and reacted to, even if they're critical of it, right? I stand by
or correct if you're wrong.
Right. Or I'll correct it if I'm wrong. Yeah, I have no problem doing that either. So even
If you like watching videos like this one, like and subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. Let's get back to the video.
even if there was something that someone reacted to from a members only live stream that Zach and I were like, oh, thank God that was members only and it's not going to get out there. Well, it got out there anyway. Who cares? I can apologize, right? I can say, hey, you know, it's necessary to put forth a correction here. What is so bizarre about this is that Ana seemingly wants to be able to hide behind this section of the show. She wants to have this 30 minutes of bonus members only content where essentially she's unaccountable for what she says. And I've just realized that actually, you know, this threat against us is technically in a members only part of the show. So this was not posted to the Young Turks main channel for their viewers to see. No, she wanted to get away with playing this in the members only bonus section of the show. So that people could not respond to it. Well, guess what? We're doing it anyway. So I guess, you know, come after us. I guess this is war, you know, so throw the copyright strike at us. Let's see who YouTube sides with. But it's pretty pathetic for a channel with 6 million subscribers to be threatening two guys living in Kansas City with a channel that doesn't even have 100,000 subscribers. Like that would be like us threatening or copyright striking a channel with 100 subscribers. That's literally.
Yeah, I think Ana is incorrect to even talk about copyright striking people for whatever content they react to. And again, like I said before, I'm biased, but inevitably the Young Turks are going to do it too as part of their show when they need to show their audience something or react to something. So I think that was a bad argument. But I do understand her frustration with these guys. I mean, just hearing them talk here, and they're not even getting super political, but just the little comments they did make that were political are so annoying. And this guy says he stands by everything he says on air. He's like, and I'll never be embarrassed. That's the problem, dude. You should be embarrassed. But what do you want? What we want to hear from you. What do you guys think about Ana Kasparian seemingly going to war with other progressive channels? Do you think Ana's fans and all the other progressive commentators have been unfair to her? Or do you think it's well deserved? Let us know in the comments. Anyway, as always, really appreciate you watching, and we will see you on the next one.